So right now we have some momentum going with this thing that is the OBS full-size mini truck build. I'm calling it a mini truck build because we are inspired by the mini trucks back in the day, but this is a full-size truck, so we are doing the things that are necessary. We're thinking 24s, laying frame, well, doors to the ground, maybe a funky paint job, running, driving, doing everything that we need to do to make this thing as cool as we can make it with the stuff that we have. So what I want to focus on today, we have a different cab. This is not the cab that we are using. The bed that was on here, we have a different bed as well. So now that we've kind of worked the frame to the extent that we want to work it, we have air done in the back, we have air done in the front as far as lines go. When it comes to hooking up compressors and the tank, we will do that once we get the cab settled. So I want to take the cab off this thing so that way we can eventually work towards mounting the motor. We want to Z-notch the front so that way we can get the frame laid out on 24s. It's important to get the frame on the floor or at least level from front to back with the wheels that we are going to inevitably end up with. So I'll probably show you the wheels as well. Let's get started.
And now, you're watching the Hi, is this still available? Yes, are you interested? No. Channel of YouTube. Welcome to Bodie Vision.
Hey, so what is up and welcome. Thanks so much for joining me yet again on another video. So right now what I'm thinking, the back, I put the notch in the back, the 4-link, we made that as low as it needed to go to fit 24s. Now if we air out the back and air out the front, we have a squat. So with that squat, I think we need to Z-notch the front frame. I know some guys were saying that you don't necessarily have to do that with the OBS truck, that you can get it down on the ground, probably with stock wheels. The 24s are going to be larger, so let's go ahead, do whatever we need to do to get the cab ripped off this thing. Maybe the doors will come off, maybe they won't. We'll just see what happens. I already got the steering column disconnected, all the brake lines are done, all the electrical is out of here. We are going to be using standalone motor harness as well as standalone chassis harness. All that stuff is in a box. So anything and everything that's on here that's not the frame, we can go ahead and disregard it. So let's do what we need to do to get this cab pulled. Really happy with this. This is a huge step for me with the full-size mini truck to get this guy in here just as the frame itself. I've never had a truck down to a frame car, anything, so I'm excited to mess around with something like this. Now, the next step naturally would be to air it out and see what happens. So that way I can show you that we hit the frame back here, we still have room to give over here, but at this point it is time for us to stop messing around with these factory wheels or the wheels that I got it with. Oh my goodness. Let me show you what I got. So I knew once I was diving into this project that there was a couple of things that are non-negotiables. One of them being getting the doors to lay on the floor. The other one is some super baller 24s. So I've been on Facebook Marketplace, I've been looking, and this should show you a little bit of a clue of what we got going on over here. Liberty Forge wheels, I found these for a banging deal. The spec is a little bit wild. I think that's why I got it for such a good deal. Let me just show you that, man, come on. 24-inch, careful now. 24-inch wheels. I don't know the exact spec, but I do know that it is a baller spec. And it's pretty cool. I didn't know if I'd love or hate this design with no lip at all. But dude, I'm a fan. These things are going to be super baller on the OBS truck. 24-inch billet, Liberty Forge wheels. I love these things, dude. No lip, just face. It makes the face look even that much bigger. They're a little bit dirty. They've been sitting around. I got them for a crazy good deal. If you know anything about custom built forge wheels, custom specs, and all that stuff, you know how much these could cost. This entire set with tires that are brand new, still have all the furs on them and everything, or hairs, or whatever you call them. It might be a few years old. I got everything you see here, all 4 of them, for $2,000. That is a bang up deal for something like this. So let's go ahead and throw these on the front, throw them on the rear. I'm not gonna put the floating caps on now because they're gonna be on and off a few times, and then we'll figure out and see what happens. But I've been waiting to show you these, and let me know in the comments down below what you think. Let's get the old ones ripped off and the new ones on. And these new ones, they're a little bit taller than the old ones, so that's gonna change a lot. We need to build it based on what we're gonna be on, not what we're not gonna be on. All right, so right now, as you can see, we got the wheels on this thing, and everything right now is looking pretty much as I expected. If we air out the back, it is going to touch the frame because I made all of my measurements based on the 24s. Now in the front, if we air it out, we are still about this far off the ground, probably about 3 inches. So with doing a body drop, with moving forward and everything, we need to make sure that we are working with a level frame. I could do a body drop where we do more of a drop in the front because the front of the frame is higher, but then the floor, we just need to level everything out. So we can either run everything higher and do a more aggressive drop, or we can get the frame down lower and do a less aggressive drop. I think I want to do a little bit, I don't want to take all of the room from inside of the car, so I think we need to Z-notch the frame in the front right here. Get the frame on the ground. It's not going to take too much. That'll level everything out. Then from there, we can have the frame on the ground and the body on the ground at the same exact time, so that way we aren't just crushing the doors as we go down. I know some people mention that I can go with different A-arms and there's different things that I can do, but whenever anybody suggests anything like that, to me it just sounds like throw money at it, throw money at it, throw money at it, where I'd rather just use my grinder, use my welder, figure out what we need to do to make it work, and go for it. So I measured some lines over here, figured out where I would want to cut, because wherever I cut, we are going to have to reinforce it even stronger than it was before we cut it, because I don't want my zones to fail. So yeah, let's go ahead and get cutting. We'll jig it up, we'll figure out what we need to do, weld it back together, because the goal is we need to get this frame laying on the ground. so as you can see, we got something going on. Now I know a lot of you guys, or some of you guys, it's inevitable that some people that are watching will complain and say, this isn't on a frame table, how do you know that this is perfectly to the 1000th level? And I'll tell you right now, I know for a fact that it is not. It's gonna be fine. We're just building for fun. If this was a brand new nice truck and you wanted to do something this crazy and you knew the vehicle was going to want to see 100,000 miles, you would obviously do it on a frame table. But what are the guys supposed to do that are just building for fun, that want to make something cool that they know they can take out on the weekends and it'll be okay? That's what I'm building for. That's the way that I'm building. Would I like to do this on a frame table? Of course I would. Do I own a frame table? I do not. Do I have frame table pockets? No, I do not. So we are just putting this thing together on a nice flat floor of a slab that I actually poured myself. So is the slab perfect? Not really. Is this going to be okay? It'll be fine in the end. The thing that I am concerned about most is getting it as close as possible. I mean, if we're within a 16th of an inch, I'm probably just going to go for it, even though I'm going to try to get it perfectly dialed. Another thing that I'm thinking, maybe I'll have to tack one side and then shimmy the other side over, because at this point I'm moving one side and then the other side is getting a little bit out of whack. As long as it's pretty good and as long as it's really strong, I'm going to build it back up quite a bit. It's going to be stronger in that section than anywhere else by the time I'm finished over engineering it, and it's going to be all good. So as you can see right there, that's going to be our Z. It's going to be Z at the top, Z at the bottom. It's hard for me to figure out where my finger is, like I'm doing the weather over here. As you can see with the weather, it is raining. It's going to be raining for the next few days. So that's my weather forecast. My plan is, the next step is, let's get this thing welded together so that way we can kind of get it glued in. Then we will worry about reinforcing it before we cycle the suspension or anything like that. So yeah, moving really good. Hopefully this helps you on yours if you're building in my style. If you want to build in a different style, go ahead, go do that. Go do that in your shop or your garage. Alright, so right now we are in really good shape. Let me just kind of start from the beginning and explain to you all of the pieces throughout this process so that way you can judge and make a decision if you feel like it's going to be strong enough or not. So we have the frame, we have it, you know, it used to be like this, now it's staggered. Those were not butt together, those were gapped out about the width of a grinder blade because that's naturally what would be gone. And also gapping out the metal helps you bridge that gap with welding so that way you know it's piece of metal, which is frame, then weld in between, and then frame again. And the reason why I wanted to do that is because I knew I was going to grind everything down to where it was relatively nice and smooth, because we have a cap. So we have them running together. We have the weld, then we have this plate right here, so it's fully plated in on the sides. Now on the top, where it was an open hole, and on the bottom where it was an open hole, we added a plate there as well. The plate, I added my gussets, my 90-degree gussets on one side, 90-degree gussets on the other. So there was 4 gussets per side for a total of 8 gussets. Those gussets, I welded them out on the inside and the outside, obviously before this main plate was on there, and then that all got smoothed out. And then we have a top plate, the side plate. It is without a doubt more solid than the rest of the frame. I'm happy with the way that it looks. This was something that we were debating if it was necessary, because the thought was, if I was body dropping it, why do double work? But all in all, after spending a day and a half messing around with it, cutting, grinding, and putting it back together, I'm very happy with how this came out, very happy with how it looks, and man, I am confident that it is very strong. So let's put the wheels back on this thing, get this on the ground, air it out, make sure everything works just as it should, and then figure out the next step. We are making great progress with this full-size mini truck. All right, so really quickly, we left the shop. We have a quick detour. I have my second session for my back tattoo. I know some of you guys have been asking about it since you tuned in for the first session. So now here we are over at Built for Speed again, over in just outside of Orlando. I'm here to see my buddy Lou. He should be pulling up any second. Then we are going to get working on my back piece. Is that him right there? No. He'll be here any second, and then we'll check in with Lou, see what's going on with him. As far as what the goal is for today and the plan of what exactly is going to happen with my back piece, I don't know what he's gonna do. I don't know what he has planned, and I don't really mind either way. I know he's got my best interest in mind, so we'll see what the plan is in just a second. All right, so we just pulled up here. We're kind of getting everything ready. You can see what we already got going on. What's up, man? How are you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. How you doing, man?
Good, man. So what's the plan for today? What are you thinking?
Well, I think we're going to start from the top, just work our way through with a bit of black, fill any lines we need to, add a bit of color, and just see how it goes.
Cool. So we're hoping this one's not going to be too hard for me. The last one was brutal. Hopefully this one will be a little bit easier.
It's going to be a lot easier for sure. Yeah.
Cool. All right, man. Well, let's get started. I'll get comfortable wrapping stuff up here, and then we'll go for it. And you're filming everything for your YouTube channel as well. I'll put the description down below.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. So that way there's going to be a longer form video over there. You guys can check that out if you want. I'm just going to kind of show what I'm going to show. And if you guys are interested in more of the background stuff, we got a whole setup going on over here.
Oh, yes.
So walking into this session, everything in black, as you can see here, is what we had done. We are going to approach some of the other stuff on a different day. The main goal here was to get the eagle colored in as well as that frame section. So as you can see, everything is looking good. This was about a 4 or 5 hour session. We achieved the goal of what we wanted to do, and yeah, can't wait for the next one. All right, so here we are back at the shop, back to the frame. Let's air this thing out so that way we could take it in together and see how it is looking. I think I need to back this guy out just a little bit. So yeah, man, super excited with the progress thus far. It is really cool for me to see in the shop just something. Rolling chassis on 24s, the wheels that we are ultimately going to end up on. The back hardly requires any air at all to get it to come up or down just because it is so ridiculously light. Front's got a little bit more weight to it. Woo, just like that, we are laying on the ground. And I know I did my math pretty good because we aren't like hard pressed on the ground. We still, like, I don't think we can move it. Maybe we could. yeah, I don't know. We have the bottom of the trans brace. Those nuts are poking through. Actually, the heads of the bolts are poking through on the frame. So I'm thinking what I'm going to have to do, the trans brace is going to have to come up since the motor went up in reference to the frame, where now the frame is a lot lower than where the motor mounts. So if the trans brace comes up by about the same amount, that should make sense. That makes sense to me anyways. So the next thing that I think we have going on is, if you can see right here, we have this guy that has been put away. Put to be covered up because I didn't want any overspray getting on it as I was doing some painting recently. We got our transmission right here, the motor, everything completely ready to go to drop into the shaft. This is a really weird view. Let me get you back over there. So we have this motor ready to go in here with the transmission. I still have the trans mount. This to me should be, I don't want to jinx it, but it should be really easy. We're just going to have to figure out the 2 front mounts, get rid of the mounts that are there. I have mounts forward. We'll have to integrate it, figure out some kind of system. As far as the trans goes, all we need is 2 studs to go through. So I'm thinking this trans mount, if I raise it, just pop those studs through. I'm like kind of thinking at it and working through it as we're just looking at it. So that is going to be relatively simple. Then once we get the motor in, we can get the exhaust ran, we can run fuel lines, we can run all the stuff that's going to make it a lot easier to do without the cab on it. That way when the cab goes on here, we are doing our body drop, we are running brake lines to the booster, maybe I'll run lines beforehand. All in all, that is for me to figure out on the next upload. So really happy with the progress thus far, really happy with my back piece over there from Lou. He did such a great job. I'm looking forward to the next sessions on that, looking forward to the next video, hoping that you subscribe because you're looking forward to them as well, and I will see you on that next video. So thank you so much for watching. Like this video, comment, subscribe, let me know what you think about everything down below, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm out.